Hey everyone, I'm excited to share with you a brand new Chrome extension for Domo, the Domo Toolkit. This extension was created by the Domo community and is meant for anybody who is a power user, consultant, or major Domo in a Domo instance. It provides tons of different tools that you can easily use to help make your life easier in Domo. And today I'm going to walk through how you can install the extension. So to start, when you're in the Chrome Web Store, if you just search for Domo Toolkit up in the toolbar, you will find this Domo Toolkit extension. And basically, this is just a listing for it, but you can add it to your Chrome. So if I click Add to Chrome here, I'm going to add the extension. And then right off the bat, it'll take me to the Settings menu. And what I like to do is sometimes this won't be pinned to start off with. And so in this case, when you're using the extension, you are going to pin it to the top of your Chrome bar, and it'll show up there. And anytime you want to use the extension, you'll just simply go up there and click this button, and then it'll pull down a list. It'll pull down this little utility that then you'll be able to use in your Domo instance. So let's talk through real quick this initial menu. This is just kind of the welcome menu that talks high level overview what the Domo Toolkit is. And like I said before, this has dozens of different tools that you can use. And some of the simple things that it can do is it can copy IDs from your Domo instance. You can share objects with yourself. You can analyze dependencies such as lineage and look at relationships. You can instantly view the activity log. This is one of my favorites that I'll show you a little bit later. And then also there's some things that automatically happen. Just to show you, probably one of my favorite features is that favicons are automatically set to the instance logo. And so if you're not familiar with a favicon is this little guy up here in your Chrome tab. And so in this case, you can see it automatically updated to the logo in my Domo instance. And so I navigate to another page, you can see it updates to the Domo community, right? So this is really powerful if you're in lots of different Domo instances. You can easily see, oh, okay, this is my Elevate one, this is my Domo community one, and that just happens automatically, which is super powerful. The other really cool thing that you can do with that is if you come over to favicon preferences, you can actually define your own rules. And so in this case, the default is just the instance logo, and that's just these little logos up here. But if I wanted to, I could actually add a new rule and prioritize it to be the top rule. And in this case, this pattern is expecting a regex. And so you know that your boy doesn't know regex. So in this case, I'm just going to come down here, and the developer has given us some cheat sheets. So I'm just going to copy this as saying, hey, I only want this to match this certain company name. So if I come here and paste it, I'm just going to come back to my Domo Elliott Leonard and copy this. And then I'll paste it in here. And then in this case, I want to say this one is going to be a Domo logo colored, and this one's just going to be the instance logos, and I click save. And immediately you can see the favicon updates to a black one, right? I could update it to a purple one and click save settings, and it defaults to purple, right? So really cool feature. Really think that this is super helpful. And so like I said, anytime you're in a Domo instance, you'll be able to use this extension. And if you want to ever adjust the settings, you'll just come back up here and click this little cog icon, this extension settings, and that'll take you to this page. So let me show you what that looks like, right? We come in here, and then it'll automatically pull me over here. If we come over to settings, let's talk about some of the settings. So of course, there's dark mode. Let's go. So if I come here, and I'm going to do dark mode, of course, for all my stuff. And then I can also set my Domo default instance. So in this case, I'll say like Domo community is my default instance. And then the last thing is this cookie clearing behavior. So if you've been in lots of Domo instances, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is this 431 error that sometimes pops up that you have to clear your cache and clear all your cookies, which can be kind of a hassle. So in this case, what the extension actually does is as soon as your browser sees that error, it'll actually clear it. It'll clear your cookies, and then it'll preserve the last two instances that you logged into, and it'll relog you into the instance. And so I'll show that later. Like I said, if you've been in lots of Domo instances before, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and this is such a game-changing feature. So let's walk through some of my favorite functionality with the Domo Toolkit extension. So I'm going to navigate over to my Domo instance, and we'll just come over here to the Domo community instance. Right off the bat, one of the great features about this is that you can there's a built-in activity log where any page that I'm on, I can actually come in here, and if I click on this little activity log button, I'm going to click it, and it automatically is going to open up an activity log. And so this might take a second to render, but basically it's going to show an activity log that's filtered down just to the specific page that I'm on, right? So let's just give it a second. And now we have this great looking activity log, right? So in this case, we have all these filters. We can have a date filter. We can say different actions, right? So it's like, hey, I want to see just who created something on this dashboard, and then it'll filter down. In this case, no one. But this is super powerful. You can also select the columns that you want to see. So in this case, I could see everything, and then I can actually download stuff. So I can export this to a CSV or Excel if I want to. Like I said, this is super powerful because anytime you're in Domo in anywhere, right? I could come over here to this one and then click the extension and then click the activity log. It'll reload and just look at that specific dashboard. So super, super powerful. And then we have the activity log again for that specific dashboard. Okay, let's talk about another one of my favorite features. Another favorite feature that I have is sometimes if you're in a Domo instance and you have dashboards with lots of different sub dashboards and like sub dashboards, it's really confusing to know, like, and it can be very complicated to navigate the instance. So here what we have is if we come into the extension, we can say get child pages. And I wanted to highlight this. So this is a toolbar. This is a Chrome toolbar that pops out. And so in this case, this toolbar is showing all the pages, child pages and grandchild pages, right? In this case, we can see that. We can also expand to see the grandchild pages. And the nice thing about this is we can share this with ourselves, right? So we can share, click that button to share with yourself, and it'll also share the child pages with you too. And so this is super helpful where if you're an admin in an instance, but you don't have access to a page, instead of having to go into admin and share all the pages with yourself over and over again, which I've done many a time, you can actually just come in here, navigate to a page, and if you don't have access, you can just click a button to say share with yourself, which I think it's this guy right here. Yep, share with yourself. So this is actually super powerful, right? Because it's, again, the overall goal of this extension is all these things are possible in Domo, but this extension just helps speed it up to make it quicker. One of the great aspects of the Chrome extension is that you can actually have it by your side at all times. And so if you find that you're using this Chrome extension a ton and you work in Domo all day, every day, you can actually just have this sidebar open, and then all the functionality that you previously had to click on before is just right here on this sidebar, right? And so you can navigate around your Chrome browser, and it'll just automatically update according to what page you're on. And so this is super powerful. Like I said, the way I did this is I just clicked the extension, and then I clicked this little sidebar, open side panel, and it'll open up the side panel. So super powerful. So this extension is really good at interacting with very complicated dashboards. And when I say complicated dashboard, I just mean maybe it has cards on it, maybe it's powered by lots of different data sets, maybe it has lots of subpages. The extension really excels here. And just to show you, so this is my classic hidden gems dashboard that has lots of different cards on it, tons of bricks and all sorts of things. The first thing I can do is I can say get cards here. And this right here would show me all a list of the tons of cards that I have. I can copy the IDs, so that'll easily copy to clipboard, or I can actually click on here and it'll open it up into a new tab, and then I can see exactly what the card is. So I find that to be super helpful. And then I can also see what the data sets are, right? So in this case, this dashboard has tons of data sets to it. So if I click that get data sets, it shows all the different data sets. I can copy the ID of the data set, and then I can also, again, just open up different data sets, and it'll open up a new tabs. And so this is super helpful, right? If you're trying to debug something, you can just easily open up the data set and then still have the dashboard back here to look at. And so I find that super helpful. And then I can also lock card too. So if I have a huge dashboard, instead of having to go one by one, I can just click this lock card button, and we can see that it locked all 30 cards. That way, only admins or owners of the dashboard can unlock those cards or interact with them. Now, let's walk through some of the other functionality that the extension gives us. So in this case, we already talked about, but you can copy an ID to clipboard. And in this case, with a lot of these buttons, if you actually hold the button, it'll show other options. So in this case, I can copy the app ID, whereas the first one is just copy the page ID. So super helpful. You can share pages with yourself. We already went through that. Activity log, if you hold this one, you can actually see the activity log for all the child cards and child pages as well. So it just enhances the filters of the activity log. So super helpful. You can also navigate. So in this case, whatever I copied from this button, I can navigate to it automatically just with a one click. And so in this case, I copied a App Studio page, and so it navigated me to an App Studio. So super helpful. There's also this delete button. So in this case, to show this off, if I actually go over to my Beast Mode Manager, this is really cool functionality where right here in the UI, you're not able to easily delete something, right? In this case, you can lock a beast mode, but you can't delete it. And so this extension actually enhances this where you can actually come here and say delete. In this case, it'll give you a prompt saying, are you sure you want to delete it? And you can permanently delete a beast mode. And so in this case, once I refresh the page, it'll no longer exist. So that just shows how you could do that. The last thing I wanted to cover is this current context screen. And so if I click this to expand it, this actually shows the JSON that powers, the JSON definition that powers the different things in Domo. And so as you navigate around Domo, you can see, so in this case, I can copy this to clipboard. That copies the raw JSON. I can go paste it into my code editor like VS Code to use it. But I can also go in and expand, right? So in this case, if I need to know like a certain key pair, right? I need to know like a certain ID. I can copy it from here. I could also copy the whole thing. But like I said, this is just super helpful as you navigate around Domo, right? Let's go to a data set, for example. So now I'm on a data set. And so in this case, I can see different facts or different things about the data set. And so I can see like exactly like, for example, the cryo status, whether it's available or not, what cloud it's in, things that aren't exposed in the UI, you can actually get from this context, from this JSON. And this is cool also for streams, for example. Previously, for me to get the stream ID, I'd have to either sniff network traffic or go to Domo stats. But in this case, I can actually get the stream ID right here. I can just copy it and use it in my other code, such as Postman or VS Code. So super helpful. And what's the crazy part is that that's only a taste of the extension. Like I said, there are dozens of tools, many of them that I still have yet to use. Really what I talked about today was just some of my favorite tools, but I cannot underemphasize how much I've loved this Chrome extension. I hope you can try it out. It's free to use. If you're an admin, developer, major Domo, or a consultant that works in Domo, you will definitely benefit from this tool. So hope you found this helpful. Thanks.